Imagine uncovering a hidden gallery filled with fresh, unseen masterpieces by the legendary Bob Ross, the gentle voice who taught millions to embrace painting with joy and ease. Recently, a remarkable discovery in an attic shed new light on his creative world, revealing paintings that fans and collectors never knew existed. How did these undiscovered works stay hidden for decades? This unexpected find challenges our understanding of Ross's artistic journey and invites us to explore the mystery behind these secret creations. Could these lost paintings alter the legacy of the man who inspired so many? Step inside as we unravel this fascinating chapter filled with artistry, surprise, and an enduring spirit of creativity. The attic discovery in a quiet town, far from the bustling art galleries and auction houses, an unexpected discovery stirred excitement among art lovers and fans alike. Hidden away in the attic of a longtime Bob Ross collector's estate, a collection of previously unknown paintings by the iconic painter came to light. These works, untouched by time, were unveiled almost by accident during a routine cleaning and sorting of forgotten items. The sheer volume and freshness of these paintings sent ripples through the art and fan communities instantly. The owner, who had acquired the property years before, was unaware of the significance of these canvases. Many were stacked carefully, some still wrapped in protective coverings, suggesting they might have been deliberately preserved or forgotten. The fact that such a trove remained hidden for decades raised immediate questions. Why had these works never been shown? Were they personal experiments, practice pieces, or lost masterpieces? The mystery only added to the intrigue. What made this discovery even more compelling was the timing. Bob Ross's influence has endured long after his passing in 1995, with renewed popularity thanks to digital platforms and documentaries. Finding new material at this moment felt like uncovering a missing chapter in a story that many thought was complete. These paintings offered a fresh glimpse into Ross's creative mind, potentially expanding what we knew about his artistic journey. Local art experts and Ross aficionados were quickly invited to examine the discovery. Preliminary inspections revealed a range of landscapes and nature scenes, some familiar, others strikingly different. The paintings displayed a variety of techniques and moods, hinting at phases in Ross's development not widely documented before. Their condition was remarkably well preserved, raising questions about storage and why they had not been shared. The news spread like wildfire, igniting passionate discussions in online forums and social media groups dedicated to Bob Ross. Collectors speculated about future auctions, while fans envisioned these artworks adding depth to the beloved painter's legacy. Yet, amidst the excitement, a cautious note lingered. Authenticity needed confirmation, and the art world waits patiently for proof before embracing new discoveries. This moment also highlighted an important aspect of artistic legacy: how easily works of great significance can remain hidden in plain sight, just waiting for rediscovery. The attic, once just a dusty storage space, had become a vault holding pieces of cultural history. It reminded everyone that behind every famous figure, there may be untold stories slowly emerging. The discovery set in motion a careful process of cataloging and study. Experts took great care in transporting the paintings to facilities equipped for conservation and appraisal. The family of Bob Ross, along with representatives from museums and galleries, expressed keen interest in what these works might reveal. For many, this was not just about art, but about connecting to the personal, unknown side of a cherished artist. With the treasure trove uncovered, the question turned inevitably to the artist himself. Who was Bob Ross beyond the famous voice and brushes we all recognize? Who was Bob Ross? Bob Ross is a name synonymous with tranquil landscapes, calm reassurance, and a teaching style that made painting approachable for millions. Born in 1942, Ross's journey to cultural icon was anything but traditional. Before enthralling audiences with his PBS show, The Joy of Painting, he served in the U.S. Air Force, where he developed traits like patience and steady diligence that would later define his artistic approach. Ross's serious painting career started in the 1970s, when he was trying hard to get rid of the stressful military life. He stamped his artistic identity with the wet-on-wet method, that is, painting with oil colors one over the other in layers and creating blending effects at the same time, which turned out to be so quick that it caught the interest of beginner painters and soon became a revolutionary technique in landscape painting. The considered support and the repetitive use of words like happy little trees, among others, made his work to be perceived as coming down to earth and full of joy. Thus, art turned out to be a therapeutic means for many. Bob Ross was a widely popular artist, but he always kept a low profile and was very humble because he was more concerned about teaching and spreading creativity than about personal fame and commercial success. Over 400 episodes of his TV show were produced and filmed in a decade, with each episode featuring a new painting made in real time. This sharing of the artist's process in an open manner created a real bond between the audience and the artist. Ross's power was not confined to art. He was a source of comfort to many during the turbulent period of the Cold War, his soft voice and encouraging words being the main source of emotional relief. People often think of Ross's painting as simple, but it indeed shows the artist's high regard for quietness and beauty of nature. This connection with the audience is the reason why his popularity has not dwindled but rather increased, even if it is decades since he passed away. Even though Bob Ross's public persona is well known, his private artistic output is still largely uncharted territory. The artist's extensive personal collection, consisting of commissioned works, practice paintings, and experiments, was mostly undisclosed until the present time. The unearthing of new pieces from Ross promises to expand our comprehension of his artistic development and creative ambitions more widely. Moreover, Ross was the inspiration of a group of artists who adopted his doctrine that the joy of creation is more important than seeking perfection. This is a legacy that not only has been seen in galleries, but is also very much alive on social media, where millions of people keep giving their own happy little trees in tribute. His art and ideals turn into a cultural landmark, a beacon of hope, and a source of creativity that was always available to anybody. Discerning the man behind the canvases makes the paintings discovered in the attic emotionally heavier. The stroke of the brush now reverberates the sound of a kind-hearted spirit who lived for the purpose of making others discover their own creative voices. These findings empower the newly revealed works with more meaning. As excitement over the discovery grew, the next critical step was to ensure these paintings truly belonged to Bob Ross, not just as a hopeful assumption, but as a rigorously verified fact. Authenticity and verification authenticating artworks, especially those newly discovered, is a meticulous and often complex process. For the Bob Ross paintings found in the attic, expert scrutiny became essential in confirming their origin. Specialists in art history, forensic analysis, and Ross's unique painting style collaborated to separate genuine pieces from potential imitations or misattributions. One of the first steps involved examining the materials, the canvas, paint composition, and age indicators, such as varnish and brushwork textures. Scientific tests, including pigment analysis and ultraviolet light inspections, helped determine whether these elements match those that Ross commonly used during his career. Initial results aligned closely with known authentic works, fueling optimism. Experts also compared the artistic style with Ross's typical techniques. His wet-on-wet method and characteristic brushstrokes are distinct, often acting as a signature in themselves. The discovered paintings showcase these features consistently, from the fluid blending of skies to the characteristic highlights populating trees and mountains. This stylistic match lent strong support to their authenticity. Moreover, provenance played a role. Curators traced the estate's ownership and consulted archives related to Ross's personal and professional life. Records indicated that the collector had connections to Ross's circle, supporting the notion that these paintings were part of a personal trove rather than random acquisitions. This link strengthened the case for genuine authorship. In addition, consultation with the Bob Ross Legacy Foundation and family members helped authenticate the works. Their specialists have deep familiarity with Ross's art and were able to confirm signatures, painting habits, and even anecdotal details aligning with the newly found pieces. Their endorsement added significant credibility to the discovery. The authentication process also involved cataloging the paintings in detail, documenting each element methodically. High-resolution imaging and condition reports became part of a growing dossier that would accompany these works into the public eye. This transparency aimed to build trust with audiences and collectors worldwide. Despite the strong evidence, experts urge caution, reminding fans that complete certainty in art authentication can be elusive. However, The convergence of scientific testing, stylistic analysis, and provenance made a compelling case that these paintings were indeed hidden creations of Bob Ross himself. This verification opened the door for deeper appreciation and study of the artworks, inviting viewers to see them not just as found paintings, but as authentic extensions of Ross's artistic legacy. With the groundwork of authenticity established, the conversation naturally turns to what these paintings reveal about his style and technique compared to the works we thought we knew. Style and technique, the newly uncovered paintings, exhibit the hallmark traits that made Bob Ross's work instantly recognizable. Yet they also reveal fresh facets of his artistry. Ross's signature wet-on-wet oil painting technique allows for blending colors directly on the canvas, creating smooth skies, reflective lakes, and the soft edges of distant mountains. These attic pieces demonstrate that same mastery, with layers of paint applied fluidly and with confident, sweeping brushstrokes. The effect is both dynamic and serene, capturing nature's quiet beauty in a way that became his trademark. Yet, these paintings also showcase variations that suggest Ross was experimenting beyond his usual pattern. Some works present a bolder use of texture and a slightly different palette. There are vivid bursts of color and unexpected brushwork that hint at a deeper exploration of mood and light. This nuance challenges a common perception that Ross's style was formulaic. Instead, it suggests a restless creativity beneath his calm exterior, a desire to evolve his approach even while catering to his instructional format. It is remarkable that some of the paintings present extraordinary details in the representation of natural things like trees and rocks. The artist's hard work in these paintings is seen to the shadows and highlights, which are applied very carefully to make the painting look real. That is opposite to the faster ways of painting that are usually seen on the artist's TV show. It is possible that these were private works or studies where he was able to spend more time on perfection. It lets the public see a little bit of the artist who is doing the rough work in private, away from the camera. Water and reflections are another area that interests most people, and that is also how Ross perceives them, which is found in many of the attic finds. The shimmer and fluidity of the scenes of a light that makes the ordinary landscapes close to a meditative experience. This echo of movement and brightness indicates that Ross was very much interested in the interaction of natural elements, a trait sometimes hidden by his fame as a tree and mountain instructor. The paintings communicate the need of the artist to be observing all the time. The techniques of painting made our perception of Ross as an artist more intuitive, as they showed how well he could balance control and looseness. His brushes looked like they were having fun with the canvas, sometimes being very gentle and layering, and at other times making bold strokes. This rhythm was one of the factors that made his teaching so easy. The audience felt that they were part of a process that had both discipline and freedom. The technique being shown in the hidden works only strengthens the notion that there is a technical genius behind his seemingly effortless scenes. The paintings, in addition to everything else, also have quite remarkable lighting effects. Ross frequently showcased the sunbeams coming to the trees or the bright, snowy, and watery surfaces by painting brilliant highlights. The freshly released collection shows a very subtle acknowledgement of natural light that alters the atmosphere from serene to grand depending on the shadows and the interplay. This versatility not only widens but also deepens our perception of his emotional scale as an artist. Another important factor that makes the paintings more appealing is the selection of colors. Besides the common greens and blues, there are also surprising warm oranges, purples, and deep reds that imply seasonal or atmospheric changes. These color combinations are reminiscent of different times and weather conditions, giving an emotional range that is richer than the one usually seen in the aired episodes. It suggests that Ross's personal work had the capacity to explore a wider emotional range. All these stylistic and technical details taken together completely changed the perception of Bob Ross. He was not just a television painter. Rather, he was an artist going through constant refinement and subtle experimentation. The attic paintings not only bring about a new perspective regarding his teaching role, but also show how he was a painter with an intricate relationship to his craft. With this new understanding of style and technique, the question turns naturally to the stories told within these works. Themes and subjects that inspired Ross and reveal his artistic heart. Themes and subjects nature has always been at the heart of Bob Ross's artistry, a direct reflection of his deep love for the outdoors and the serenity it offers. The attic paintings continue this tradition with lush forests, quiet lakes, cascading waterfalls, and majestic mountains dominating the canvases. But within these familiar scenes, there is an added depth, a sense of narrative in place that feels more personal and less instructional. These images are not merely demonstrations. They are meditations on the natural world. One recurring theme is solitude, manifested in remote cabins nestled among towering trees or solitary paths winding through vast wilderness. These elements evoke a peaceful isolation, suggesting a refuge from the chaos of modern life. In these hidden works, Ross seems to give voice to the comforting silence and introspection he often spoke about on his show. It's as though he painted not only landscapes, but emotional sanctuaries. Water, too, plays a pivotal role. From gently flowing streams to reflective ponds, it symbolizes both movement and stillness. Ross's water scenes are imbued with quiet energy, capturing reflections that invite viewers to look deeper, both into the painting and perhaps into themselves. This focus on water underscores his fascination with nature's dualities, balancing calm and flux. Animals surprisingly make subtle appearances in a few paintings. Deer appearing in forest clearings, birds soaring above mountain peaks, and a solitary fox lurking near bushes add life and narrative drama. These delicate inclusions hint at Ross's attentiveness to the living beings inhabiting his landscapes, enriching the peaceful environments with vitality and connection. It's a reminder that his world was vibrant and alive. Seasons and atmospheric conditions are also thoughtfully explored. Some paintings bask in the warmth of autumn foliage. Others convey the crispness of winter frost or the mysterious mist of early morning. This diversity reveals Ross's sensitivity to nature's cycles and moods, inviting the viewer to experience different moments in time and place. The hidden collection thus captures nature's variability with a poetic touch. Another notable subject is the human presence, or sometimes the absence thereof. While cabins and small boats appear, most scenes are untouched wilderness, suggesting reverence and respect for places untouched by humanity. This choice reflects a philosophy Ross often expressed, that nature's beauty is best appreciated in solitude and quiet observation, a sanctuary for the soul. Light and shadow again form a thematic backbone. The interplay creates atmosphere, from golden sunsets casting warm glows to deep twilight shadows shrouding forests. This mood setting evokes emotional responses ranging from calm to awe. Ross's ability to manipulate light as a storytelling device adds narrative weight and drama beyond simple landscape depiction. Certain paintings hint at personal symbolism, such as lone trees standing resilient against stormy skies or winding rivers leading beyond the frame, symbolizing endurance and journey. While Ross rarely spoke openly about metaphor in his work, these motifs suggest deeper reflections on life's challenges and hope. Through nature, he may have been expressing his own life's philosophies and struggles. Together, these themes reveal that Bob Ross's art was more than instructional. It was a heartfelt conversation with nature, imbued with emotion and meaning. The newly discovered paintings expand this dialogue, offering glimpses into the man's private reflections and passions. They invite viewers to pause, breathe, and find peace within the painted wilderness. As these themes invite us into Ross's world, we begin to see how his career and experiences shaped the work in deeper ways, still waiting to be uncovered. Historical context to fully appreciate the significance of these newly found paintings. It's important to place them within the timeline of Bob Ross's life and career. Ross's journey as a painter took unique twists, from his years in the Air Force to his rise as a television icon. Many of these attic works appear to have been created during a period when Ross was refining his techniques and exploring various subject matters beyond what his public audience saw. This context enriches our understanding of his development as an artist. Some of the painting's materials and styles suggest they date back to the late 1970s and early 1980s, a pivotal era when Ross was transitioning from a regional art instructor to hosting his own widely popular show. During this time, he was intensely practicing the wet-on-wet technique that would come to define his public persona. These hidden pieces reveal moments of experimentation and personal expression that didn't always surface on camera. They offer a glimpse of a creative process far more layered than his televised demonstration suggested. The rise in Ross's popularity was parallel with a rise in general interest in art and therapy that were not so difficult to access. The calmness the painter was showing in his views went along with the people who were looking for peace and quiet in the middle of the noisy and stressful modern living. The painter was able to portray peace and tranquility through the gentle exterior, which was associated with him by many. The time when these paintings were probably created was also a period when Ross was trying to establish his brand and educational philosophy. The simplicity and encouragement of his show were the highlights, while the personal paintings conveyed emotional complexity that could have been too subtle for the mass television audience. These revelations prompt us to consider Ross not only as an educator, but also as a profoundly dedicated artist mirroring his environment in both public and private spheres. Moreover, the geopolitical and cultural transformations of the period, such as the environmental movements hitting the right chords and the growing consciousness about mental health, could have been major factors contributing to the choice of themes and moods in the artist's works. A lot of the paintings depicting untouched nature do have a silent acknowledgement of the conservation cause and nature's healing powers. Thus, Ross's art can be regarded as an artistic reaction to these trends, combining his personal interests with the spirit of the times. The question of what was meant for these works were meant to refer to is the fact that their preservation raises questions about their fate. Were they personal works that Ross decided to keep for himself and hence did not share very widely? Or they may have been gifts, experiments, or commissions that stayed among the close friends or relatives. Their being in an attic several decades later points to a private nature of the artworks, which is opposite to the public persona that Ross very carefully created. The tension between private and public art is a factor that we use to interpret the findings. Another plus of examining the historical context is that it also reminds us of Ross's impact being felt not only with paint and canvas. His insistence on joy, personal development, and art's accessibility was a very progressive idea for those times. These paintings are nothing but relics of that mission, proof that he might have represented simplicity, but at the same time his artistic journey was rich with depth and intent. They enlarge the story of a man who changed the minds of many regarding art and creativity. As we consider the broader impact of these works, it's natural to question how they might influence the valuation and perception of Bob Ross's art in markets today. Impact on the art market. The discovery of new paintings inevitably sends ripples through the art market, and Bob Ross's attic find is no exception. Though Ross was primarily known as an art instructor and television personality rather than a commercial gallery artist, his works have gained a dedicated following and rising value in recent years. These newly authenticated paintings could significantly influence how collectors and enthusiasts view his artistic legacy and market worth. Historically, Bob Ross's paintings were affordable, accessible, and often viewed more as memorabilia than high-value fine art. However, the renewed cultural interest fueled by streaming platforms and documentaries transformed his work into sought-after pieces. The attic discovery added a fresh dimension, original works previously unknown, with provenance verified through expert authentication, make any future sales or exhibitions particularly noteworthy. Collectors prize rarity and authenticity, both of which apply strongly to this trove. The sheer number of previously unseen paintings expands the known body of Ross's work, which can affect scarcity and desirability. Artwork directly linked to pivotal moments in Ross's career or showcasing unique techniques may command higher prices. Auction houses are likely to closely monitor this collection's release. Moreover, the sentimental value plays a key role. Ross's audience is emotionally connected to his personality and philosophy, so owning an original painting feels personal for many. The attic paintings could generate heightened interest not only among traditional art collectors, but also among fans who view these pieces as treasures, connecting them more intimately to Ross's spirit. The new findings might also challenge market perceptions about the artistic depth of Ross's work. As these pieces reveal subtle experimentation and complexity, they may encourage reevaluation of his paintings beyond their instructional context. This reassessment could drive demand from galleries and institutions previously hesitant to showcase or acquire his art. On the flip side, introducing a larger supply of paintings into the market might moderate prices for some works. While novelty is attractive, abundance can affect exclusivity. The art market's response will likely balance these factors, weighing uniqueness, condition, and historical relevance carefully. The rugs, entries, paintings many associate with Ross could soon share shelf space with these newfound landscapes and seascapes, diversify his portfolio's public and commercial face. Such expansion could inspire new exhibition opportunities, bringing Ross's work into spaces traditionally reserved for fine art rather than popular culture artifacts. Cultural institutions may join in, using this discovery to advocate for Ross's inclusion in art historical conversations more broadly. Museums dedicated to modern American art or popular culture might acquire some pieces, further legitimizing his artistic influence. This elevates Bob Ross not just as a teacher, but as a painter worthy of scholarly attention. As the market buzzes and collections shift, the story circles back to the enduring legacy of Bob Ross himself, how these discoveries deepen our connection to an artist who remains beloved worldwide. The legacy continues. The discovery of these new paintings breathes fresh life into Bob Ross's enduring legacy, showing us that his influence reaches far beyond the television screen. Ross's art has always been about more than pretty landscapes. It's about inspiring creativity, calm, and hope. These hidden works deepen that message, reminding us that even a familiar figure can hold surprising layers waiting to be revealed. The attic paintings are a testament to his lasting relevance in art and popular culture alike. The emotional bond that Bob Ross, the painter, maintained with his millions of viewers is the main reason why his legacy still lives on. People were attracted to the softness of his voice, the support in his words, and the respectful attitude toward failures. Thus, the painter's community was created where one could paint without being afraid of mistakes. The newfound work gives us the past. The unseen art is like letters from the past, welcoming us to a more personal understanding of the artist behind the brush. It also allows us to visualize creativity as a journey over a lifetime, full of discovery and quiet moments. Ross's impact has been felt in the art education of today. This has been specifically in the area of painting, where he is still seen as a major influence, his methods being used for teaching. The wet-on-wet method, which he taught, is still the most common way for beginners to get into painting. And so, in a sense, skill, the enjoyment of painting, and accessibility go hand in hand. However, one might argue that children's art classes, which incorporate the use of technology and digital art, perhaps have moved away from his teaching method to some extent. Besides, the new works that have come to light have opened up a great variety of fresh materials for educators and students to analyze and appreciate, hence expanding Ross's classroom beyond the television episodes and into galleries and collections. Culturally speaking, Ross can be viewed as a figurative banner of positivity and toughness. Through his art and personality, he also provides a world with aspirational and supportive qualities during difficult times, whether personally, nationally, or globally. The revelation of these hidden paintings coincides with a time when many people are looking for ways to cope and give vent to their creativity, thus making his message stronger than ever. Moreover, they also serve as a reminder that art can always be healing, lessen the process of getting people who are not willing to accept it into its so-called victory status. The family and the foundation that guard the legacy of Bob Ross have shown their eagerness to share these paintings with the public. The exhibitions and programs for education involving the attic collection are in the planning stage, and it is assured that his art will be seen by new types of audiences and different generations. The active conservation of the artist's contribution assures that the artist's works are very well alive and changing, not like the past, but in the present, and constantly inspiring. Bob Ross's newly found paintings remind us that art is full of surprises, revealing hidden depths even in familiar faces. From peaceful landscapes to personal reflections, these works expand his timeless legacy. If you enjoyed this glimpse into Ross's creative world, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories about art and discovery. Thanks for watching.